a Hall of Fame broadcaster, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and your host of the Craig Way Show. Here he is now, Craig Way.
Do or die time for the Texas Longhorns softball team. They lost yesterday in Game 1 of the best-of-3 Super Regional. A loss again today ends their season at the hands of the Arizona State Sun Devils. A win forces a winner-take-all. Game 3 tomorrow. Stewart shoots it inside the bag at third base. Bear down the left field line. Altmaier rounding third. She crosses the plate. Stewart standing into second, and the Longhorns are on the board. Brown deals. Atwood sends it up the middle into center field, base hit. Stewart hits third base, coming toward the plate. No throw. This game is tied. Finally, something breaks burnt orange. It was below the zone, a little off the outside, and Atwood went and got it just enough to poke it up the middle, and we're tied 2-2 in the fifth. Rounds 2-0. Hunter, it's a high, deep drive to left field. Acuna back to the warning track. It's gone! Vic Hunter gets the Longhorns the lead. 4-3, Texas in the sixth. 2-1. Grounds to second base. Leanne Good scoops it on to first, and Texas survives another day. Stewart loops it into shallow right center field. On the move, Kaylee Pond into a dive. It's in and out of her glove. Scoring is Maloney. Nichols winding around all the way to the plate. 2-0 Texas.
That was pitch number 16. 3-2 again. Ground to the plate. Pulled past the first baseman down the right field line. Rolling all the way to the wall. Henry off to the races. She's crossing the plate. Martinez toward third. And she's safe as the ball gets away. 3-0 Texas on the Martinez triple. This place is rocking. Literally, I can feel it in the press box. Vivi Martinez, her first triple of the year. A 17-pitch at bat. And the Longhorns get an insurance run here in the fifth. And it looks like that's it for Kenzie Brown.
Loopy's first pitch. Stewart rips it in the gap right center field. It's down. Short hop by Mejia. Crossing is Wallace. Here comes Altmaier. Stewart a 2-run single. 5-0 Texas in the sixth.
Texas trying to close out the super. Kavon ready once again. Another 0-2 to Samantha Swan. Popped up. Nichols down the line from third. Makes the catch. For the first time in program history, Texas is going to their third straight Women's College World Series. The Heart Attack Horns, as I think Mike White called them in the post-game interview yesterday. Lose game 1, 4-1, and come through with a late rally in game 2 before a dominant game 3. A 5-0 shutout of Arizona State. Texas season will continue in Oklahoma City. Arizona State season comes to an end.
And that season will continue for Texas on Thursday afternoon at the Women's College World Series against the Tennessee Volunteers, a game you can hear right here on 1300 The Zone live Thursday afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the program here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. My name is Craig White. Thanks very much for joining us alongside the producer, Jake Herman, who put together that highlight montage. Now, there was a little something missing from the highlight montage, but that was done on purpose. See, I asked Jake when he was going to put the highlight montage together, I said, definitely have the Viviana Martinez triple in there. That's a big part of that last game. However, I said, can you lift the entire 17-pitch at bat that Vivi Martinez had that I think was the critical moment in the ball game? And we'll play that separately in the 3 o'clock hour. And he has done that. So you'll get to hear that entire 17 pitch at bat coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. It was something else.
It really was. It's a turning point. I mean, it's the type of postseason at bat that you just remember where you were.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Here in a moment, we're going to hear some things from Mike White and from Tegan Cavan. In the next hour, we will also hear from Viviana Martinez and a little more from Mike White. But obviously, baseball, a big topic as well, as the Longhorns are getting ready to host the regional this week. We're going to hear from Jim Schlossnagle and also from Longhorn players. We're going to hear from Schloss coming up in the next segment, my one-on-one with him, with the coach, and then we'll have some other comments as well coming up from Jim Schlossnagle. So we'll have that. It is a day for having inconceivable, and we'll have that. I understand, according to Jake, that we kind of wound up shortchanging people with no inconceivable on Friday because it was kind of what was inconceivable going on with the rain and everything there in Hoover. So we didn't get a chance to get to that on Friday.
Yeah, and for those who joined us, we're glad you did. Hopefully Cameron Parker and I kept you plenty informed, entertained, somewhere in between as we led up to that handoff to the game in Hoover, which obviously didn't go the way the Longhorns hoped. Yeah,
no doubt about that. So we're going to hear from Jim Schlossnagle coming up on that. Also, here's something else we're going to do. So there's going to be quite an emphasis on college baseball, especially in the 3 o'clock hour and the 4 o'clock hour. Every Tuesday during the college baseball regular season and postseason, we visit with Ty Harrington. Ty, of course, the 20-year head coach at Texas State and won a junior college national championship at Northeast Texas Community College, and lifetime Longhorn, played for Coach Gus at Texas, and part of our broadcast team. He'll be joining me on Sunday in the regional thing, and he'll be a part of our broadcast team of the regional this weekend. He's also going to be zipping back and forth between Disch-Falk Field and Bluebell Park in College Station because he's very excited and proud about Texas State getting in. To the extent that, in addition to our segment with Ty, and we usually do a couple of lengthy segments about the Longhorns and the NCAA look overall, and we're going to do that, and that's going to be in the 4 o'clock hour. But coming up next hour, Ty's pal, Stephen Trout, the head coach of the Texas State Bobcats, will join us. So that's coming up next hour as well. There are other things to get to. The NBA, I don't think anybody was surprised that the Knicks wound up finishing off that sweep. You know, the turning point of that whole series was early fourth quarter of game one.
It turned out to be, huh?
Down 18 in the fourth, and then just flip the script.
But I don't know if you're aware, Craig, that the Knicks should, at any given moment, could see two of their wins taken back because the Cavaliers won the analytic game.
You're picking on Kenny Atkinson, as many have, when he talked about that. He said, I think he was just trying to make the point that we've had opportunities, but it doesn't look like that in the final scores because after game one, blowout city, you know. So
yeah, it felt like the Cavaliers got just lost their fight in real time, and it felt like towards the second half of game three, they started to give up. And I hate to assign that to a team, but when you look at Jalen Brunson dicing you up and nobody's moving an inch, nobody's lifted a finger in help defense.
Yep, makes a difference. So now they sit back and they wait to see who wins between the Spurs and Timberwolves, who play game 4 tonight.
Spurs and Thunder, you meant.
What did I say, Timberwolves?
Yeah, and it'll be game 5 tonight. And what a game it should be.
Game 5, back in Oklahoma City, back at Paycom Center. And, it's 2-2. And so they play tonight in OKC. Defending champion Thunder against the Spurs. Spurs have already proven they can win a game up there, just as Oklahoma City's proven they can win a game in San Antonio. So, you're right. It's down to a best-of-3 series. So there's that. NHL Stanley Cup playoffs.
Hey, how about your Hurricanes?
You talk about having to get gritty, and Montreal has played them fiercely, and definitely could have won either game 2 or game 3. Although the Canes pretty much dominated them last night. They outshot them something like 38-13 or something. So, but it still took overtime to get the game winner, and it took Andrei Svechnikov to get the goal, which they originally were going to give to him. Then they were going to give it to Sebastian Aho, and then they went back. No. Svechnikov. So,
could this be the year? Could this be the year for Carolina?
Maybe.
The conference finals have been their bugaboo.
Yeah, since they won it all 20 years ago.
I don't think the series is over, but that was a great performance for them last night.
It was. So we'll see. They took a 2-1 series lead. Meanwhile, out west, Colorado Avalanche President's Trophies winner are in danger of making it 13 consecutive years where the team with the President's Trophy, the most points, doesn't even make the Stanley Cup final.
And as a
Capitals, can you believe
fan,
that's happened 12 years in a row?
Yes. As a Capitals fan, I know all about that. The streak started with those Washington teams of the mid-2010s that would run into Pittsburgh and run into a buzzsaw in those years. So it's, obviously injuries have played their part.
Right. So anyway, they play Game 4 tonight in Vegas, and the Vegas Golden Knights may wind up back in the Stanley Cup finals.
Grouchy Torts.
Yeah.
I know you're looking forward to that if they make it that far.
He's just such a curmudgeon, John Tortorella. I guess you got to take your hat off to a guy that's like, I don't care. Find me $100,000. I don't feel like talking to the media.
Find me a second-round draft pick.
Yeah.
In a good draft.
Yeah. I don't care. So anyway, so that's going on tonight. Okay. I did want to hear a little more from Mike White. And Texas softball. First of all, his comments after taking Game 3. Remember now, it's 7 straight trips to the Super Regionals for Texas. And in all 7 occasions, they lost Game 1. You're talking about doing it the hard way. 7 straight years of being able to get to the Super Regional. And all 7 times they lost Game 1. Now, it cost them a couple of times when they got beat in the Supers, but not this year. And his thoughts on his team's resilience and coming back to win it.
Obviously, the week started out with some worries about the weather and everything else, but it turned out just great, and the crowds here were tremendous. Great lift to us in our program. Their support was helped us out greatly. I want to congratulate Arizona State on a fantastic season. They were just unbelievably tough. And like I said last night, it's a testament to the level of softball that's being played around the country right now. And I'm sure Kenzie Brown is going to go on and have a great career in the pros and wherever she decides to do. She was tough as nails and a real warrior out there for their program. And, I think, I don't know how many errors there were throughout the weekend, but there were very few errors. So it was pretty well played softball games. And an illustration of how good the game is getting. I want to thank administration. I want to thank their grounds crews for getting the field ready and everything else. The umpires, of course. It's a tough job. You get a crowd on you, and it's a little heated, but everyone kept their cool, and everyone did a good job there as well. And thanks, Sharon, for your help throughout the week. And, of course, everyone else that was real supportive. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, so there's that. So then he was asked, does it feel any different going back this time as the defending national champion than it did, say, in the past?
Well, right now it's a matter of relief more than anything else. It's relief that we were able to come out and come from behind again. And yesterday in that dramatic game, and then, of course, to come back out today against another tough pitcher when you were going to see Brown, and she's, like I said before, really, really tough. So nothing was given, but I just like the focus the ladies had, and of course Tegan was lights out. So it just shows the mindset of a warrior right there. That's the ability to put things that don't go her way aside and come out and compete for a team. She really loves her teammates.
And she did perform well, pitching that shutout in the final game, and was asked about her approach to dealing with long at bats that come up from a pitcher's perspective.
I mean, it's tough. Long at bats are hard. They're hard to win. It's hard. Props to both of them for staying in it as long as they did. But it does wear you down a little bit, and it does get your mind racing and your heart rate up. And so props to Vivi for being the one to stick that out and win it. But it's definitely tough as a pitcher.
Yeah, and we'll hear from Vivi Martinez coming up next hour. Tegan was also asked, what was the key in getting back to Oklahoma City this time as a defending national champion?
I mean, last year our Super Regionals was hard fought, just like this one. It's never easy. And so I think leaning on each other, it wasn't like, obviously Victoria was kind of the hero yesterday, but just kind of leaning on each other and not trying to make the moment too big, just doing it for each other, and just knowing that we've been there before. We're prepared in that moment. We're as prepared as we can be, and we're as prepared as we need to be. And so just trusting in that and leaning on each other.
Yeah, I said Viviana Martinez perhaps having the at-bat of the year for the don't sell Vic Hunter short. Pinch hit 2-run homer in game 2 to get the script flipped for Texas. Well, they were both gigantic moments, no doubt about that. So they'll play Thursday afternoon, at it's Devon Park, I think it's called now, in Oklahoma City.
Soon to be an Olympic Park.
That's right. It will be. It'll be an Olympic Stadium there. Devon Park in Oklahoma City against Tennessee Thursday afternoon. And you can hear it live right here on 1300 The Zone. 1:15 pregame start time, 1:30 with the first pitch from OKC at the Women's College World Series. Andrew Haynes will be on the call for that. And again, coming up next hour, we're going to hear Andrew's entire description of that 17-pitch at bat for Viviana Martinez. Up next to baseball, and the Longhorns hosting the regional, and we'll hear from Jim Schlossnagle when we continue on 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
It happens only once a year in Las Vegas.
Our legendary iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One,
Is back.
Put your hands in the air.
One stage, 2 nights.
Are you ready?
featuring the biggest names in music. Live, loud, and always full of surprises.
We're getting this party going, huh?
Hear it live on iHeartRadio and streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Listen for the reveal of our 2026 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Tuesday morning, June 2nd at 7.
The Milken Center for Advancing the American Dream is celebrating America's 250th One Dream at a Time. Next, Cindy Citrone, minority owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
When I was diagnosed, my breast surgeon looked at me and said to me, "This is going to be a horrendous year, but you are going to survive." That's a symbol of where we've come. My mother passed from breast cancer. I don't want my daughters to have breast cancer. And the American dream is having that hope.
Discover more at mcad.org.
Voters are listening to the radio, tons of them. If you're running for office, radio is where people are actually tuned in, not swiping past ads. Connect with communities everywhere and get on the air in just 48 hours. Visit winwithiheart.com. That's winwithiheart.com.
Booking.com has stays for absolutely anyone. For instance, imagine you're a vampire thirsting for a lively hotel. You'll find a Vegas resort near some great nightlife. Perfect. You may be undead, but you're the life of the party. And if the forecast calls for sun, at least there's free cancellation on most stays, so you can wait for the perfect weather. Ah, gorgeous. If a vampire can find their perfect stay, anyone can. Find exactly what you're booking for. Booking.com, booking.yeah.
Ready to upgrade to the perfect sleep setup? Let Mattress Firm sleep experts guide you to the perfect bed at the Memorial Day sale. Top brands, ideal comfort, score unbeatable deals on both. Mattress Firm. They make sleep easy.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a data analyst.
Hey, what model did you use for these quarterly projections?
Astrology. If Mercury's in retrograde, sales tank. If Venus is rising, we crush Q4.
You built our revenue forecast off horoscopes?
Yeah, the Zodiac never lies.
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
iHeart is America's #1 podcast network. Open the free iHeart app and explore podcasts like this.
Daphne Caruana Galizia was a Maltese investigative journalist and blogger who spent her life fighting for truth, justice, and decency in a country overrun by corruption. But on October 16, 2017, she was assassinated.
There are crooks everywhere you look now. The situation is desperate.
Malta is a tourist paradise.
But underneath its extraordinary beauty, there are some dark, dark shadows. This is a place where dark power and dark money likes to hang out. And if you try and tell truth to that dark money and that dark power, if you're a journalist, it can be a very dangerous place indeed.
They were asleep in their own beds, and somebody piled rubber tires out the back of the house and set them alight.
These are 5 car bombs within the space of a year, and nothing was done about it.
I was shaking. It was a mixture of anger and fear.
From iHeart Podcasts, Topic Studios, and Vespucci, this is Crooks Everywhere. My name is Manuel Delia, former political operative turned journalist.
I'm John Sweeney, a former BBC journalist and investigative reporter. Together, we unravel the web of deception, exposing the dangerous forces at play in Malta.
Crooks Everywhere.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
We all use AI, but here, it never pretends it's real. AM 1300 The Zone. Guaranteed human. We're back. It's the Craig Way Show with Hall of Fame broadcaster and voice of the Texas Longhorns, Craig Way.
What about the name? What they gonna say? Stop little sister getting carried away. Look at little sister. Little sister.
Yeah, here on a Texan Tuesday.
Shaking like a tree, moving like a law, shaking down a rolling now.
I had to give Stevie Ray the opportunity to get the middle riff in there. Because we do hear from the immortal Stevie Ray Vaughan on one of our return cuts in the 2 o'clock hour. In the 3 o'clock hour, we hear from the iconic Willie Nelson. And in the 4 o'clock hour, the King, George Strait, on this Texan Tuesday, among others. Certainly not limited to those three, but always inclusive of those three. So we told you about Longhorn softball, and Texas softball will be in action Thursday afternoon. It's a 1:30 scheduled first pitch time for that. Meanwhile, Texas baseball gets ready for its regional, and the Longhorns will be the regional host as the number 6 overall national seed. They'll begin play Friday at noon Friday, and you can hear it live right here on 1300 The Zone, 11:45 a.m. on Friday with the first pitch at noon. Texas Longhorns against the Crusaders of Holy Cross, champions of the Patriot League tournament. So we'll bring you that broadcast. The second game of that regional is going to be, I think, at 5 o'clock, will be the matchup between the 2 seed UC Santa Barbara and the 3 seed, the Texans of Tarleton State, the Gauchos of UCSB, who have, if not the best starting pitcher in the country, certainly one of the bests in Jackson, Flora. And one of the big speculative points is, will Andrew Checkett's the head coach at UCSB start Flora against Tarleton, or will he roll the dice, go with another pitcher against the Texans, banking on a win so that he could save Flora for a Saturday night showdown with Dylan Delantis on the mound for Texas?
Yeah, that was my instant reaction. I'm curious what Ty Harrington thinks about that when we talk to him a little bit later on. It'll be interesting to see, because we know this, overestimate or underestimate Tarleton State at your own peril.
Yeah, absolutely. So plenty more to talk about that. But let's hear from Jim Schlossnagle, my conversation with the Longhorns head coach. This was right after the announcement came down that Texas would be the number 6 overall seed and that those 3 teams would be coming to Austin. And with Texas State getting in the tournament field, UTSA and TCU not in making it into the tournament field, the health of his team and things like that. All of that in our conversation yesterday, right after the selection announcement. I heard you mention this to the media. It was something I wanted to ask you. This is something as great as it is, and even the expectation being what it is, you don't take it for granted, and I imagine your players don't as well.
They don't know enough, you know. I mean, they haven't been around enough. They haven't sat in a room. In 1997, we had 40 or 42 wins at Tulane, and that was a 48-team field. We had finished second in the league. We played to the championship game in the conference tournament. We thought for sure we were in, and literally 10 seconds before the show started, that was back when fax machines were still a thing. Baseball America faxed the bracket to our SID, and we had TV cameras in the locker room and everything, and we had to please ask them to leave, and we had to tell 7 seniors that their careers were over. And so when you've been through that and where you've been on the bubble where you don't know, I never, ever take it, just, think that this is a sure thing or take it for granted, even though obviously we knew we were going to be in. So, yes, this is a great day.
Toward that end, and before we get to talking your team, somebody asked you if you'd taken a look at the bracket. It's all fleeting and all that other kind of stuff, but seeing TCU not get in, UTSA not get in, Texas State does get in. There's a lot on that cut line. I know that was crossing through the minds of friends of yours that are in this business.
Yeah, excited I should have said that over there. Excited for Steven Trout, one of my former players. So excited for him. Disappointed for TCU, obviously. UTSA, outstanding program. We've seen what they're capable of doing, both in a regular season and a postseason. So it just shows you, man, like every game has so much value. And I'm sure all those coaches that didn't get in, you can look back and say, man, this particular game or that game, or if this player's not hurt, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's a thin line these days. There's so many good baseball programs.
You laid out how you wanted your guys to work in Hoover, especially your pitching. And then you said the way that it's set up, we had to get some work done. You said, but I hate it. I hate the losing part of it. Did you see that on the part of your players when you came back and, hey, we got to jump right back into work and get to work and start getting ready for postseason?
So far, so good. We've had 2 good workouts, very intentional, good energy. No one kind of rolling their eyes and saying, why are we practicing on this particular day? Or why are we practicing as soon as we get off the bus? So, I think that's, comes from good leadership, but we still have work to do. And, they're going to feel it. I can tell you they're going to feel it from me in the right way. I want our team to play loose. I want them to get rest. I want them to feel awesome as you can possibly feel this time of year. But at the same time, I need them to feel that, again, nothing works unless you do. We have to be more intentional with what we're doing.
Let me get your thoughts on your regional and start with your opponent, because I know coaches want to zero in on the first opponent. How much of it, even in this modern age of getting a lot of things on video and a lot of digital things to you pretty quickly, how much of a challenge is it for you and for the staff to get everything ramped up on a Holy Cross, a team coming from a one-bid league like the Patriots?
It depends on the league, right? And so, some leagues are on television more or the quality of the feed, it may be a, high home camera that's just doing some games, so you don't get to see quite as much, or some programs in those conferences don't have TrackMan, and that's where you get a lot of the analytical numbers. Of course, they'll have everything on us, when you're playing in an SEC school. So, but at the end of the day, you have to play good baseball. I know they're still on over 100 bases. I think they have the player of the year, and they're has like 45 plus stolen bases. Great player. So, they have a style of play, which will have to be, luckily when you're playing Tarleton and UTSA, and we didn't play Kentucky this year, but Vandy, some of the teams that really like to put pressure on you with the run game and the bunt game, that's what prepares you for a Holy Cross. So you can go back to, okay, guys, remember when we play this team, this is where our focus has to be. But at the end of the day, you got to throw strikes. You have 2 out hits and make routine plays. If you do that, you got a great chance.
I know you know Tarleton really well, having had them in town. UCSB, everybody knows about Jackson Flora, and it'll be interesting to see if they pitch him against Tarleton. That's where all that game stuff works out there. But how much you know about the Gauchos other than Flora?
Not much. I haven't paid attention. I know Andrew Checketts is the head coach. I know he's a great pitching guy. They've had unbelievable success, frankly, outside of UCLA and I guess USC this year. But Santa Barbara has been the most consistent Southern California program, and I think they have a very unique niche in that Santa Barbara is a great school, and they play almost all their games on the West Coast. So, if I'm the coach at Santa Barbara, I'm selling, which is I'm assuming what he does is I'm selling like, hey, if you want to play in Southern California and play in front of your family and friends, and both your home games and your road games can all be in SoCal, this is where to be. If you go to UCLA or USC, half your games are going to be, elsewhere in the Big Ten. So they have really good players and a great history of winning, and they've always pitched. And they have pitchers way beyond Florida, and he's awesome. So the whole thing's going to be a handful.
And then Tarleton, really well.
Yeah. Tarleton know them really well. They run bases. They're not just run bases because they're talented at base running. They're super fast. It's one of the fastest teams we played all year. Throw a ton of strikes, pitch well out of the bullpen, and just playing with a lot of good energy, a lot of good mojo. I love that. I love Stephenville. I love everything that town stands for and that school stands for. And so super excited for them, for Fuller, the head coach, to get him in the NCAA tournament. I remember when they went to Division I, the previous coach, when I was at TCU, I called him and said, hey, we want to come play there, because I felt like, not that, we were some special place, but I felt like we had a responsibility to help them grow their program, because that then in turn gave us a good RPI team to go play when Stephenville's not that far from Fort Worth. So I really love the evolution of that program and excited for them.
When it comes to Friday, how much of the examination of Holy Cross goes into what you decide to do with who you start on Friday and how you break it down and who you line up to pitch on Friday before you even get to thinking about the rest of the weekend?
Some goes into it, and with each individual team, if you had we developed a legit, fourth starter, which it actually was Cozart until we put him in the bullpen, that could play into it. But, we haven't really had that yet. I'm not saying that we don't have someone who can do it, but more than likely, we're not going to mess with the game too much, and we'll just have to do our best one day at a time.
Final thing here with the guys, how much you want them to relax and enjoy the moment and the experience, especially since they get to play at home, in addition to all the work that's got to go in.
Well, there's plenty of hours in the day now, right? There's nothing else. There's no school. There's no study hall. There's none of that stuff. So I think they want to be together. I want them for today. They're going to get a lift in, and then they're going to go enjoy a Memorial Day. I think some guys are going to go play golf and do some different things. We can't practice today because we still have to take one day off a week. So that's why we practiced on Saturday. That's why we practiced yesterday. Monday's normally our off day, so we're treating this Monday like a Monday. You hear the football coaches talk. So tomorrow will be our Tuesday, and we're just going to do it in the morning instead of at night. Play 7 innings, and then have our normal practices leading up to the weekend.
Appreciate the time.
All right, thanks, Rick.
All right. Yeah, and they did do that. They had scrimmage this morning and practiced that. And like he said, we're going to err on the side of caution on work. In other words, we're going to work. Err on the side of work. What was it he said in the press conference? Nothing works until you do.
Yep.
So that's
he wants him to feel that kind of situational pressure a little bit.
I like that quote. There's 1.5 million of those baseball quotes out there like that, like nothing works until you do. Or my favorite one is the one from Augie Garrido when he looks and discussed baseball as a living, breathing entity, the game itself. And Schloss does the same thing. And Augie used to say, in other words, if you left a lot of runners stranded on base, or if you committed errors in the field but got away with it, he used to say, the game knows when it's not being respected.
Yeah, like that.
Meaning you're living on borrowed time before it all comes back to bite you in the butt.
Makes me think of leadoff walks.
Yes. And if you don't cash those in on the offensive side, it's that. And if you allow too many, that's a big thing with Keith Moreland. He keeps track of that. The percentage is down. At one point, it was about 68% of the time in college baseball if a leadoff walk would score. It's in the high 50 percentile now, I think. And Major League Baseball is about 44%.
That's got to be analytics, right?
Yeah.
Pitches to get ground balls.
Yeah.
Guys that a walk is not a bad outcome on the spreadsheet.
Right. That's exactly right. All right. Coming up, Inconceivable, with a sports as well as fast food, junk food slant to it as well when we continue on 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
Hi there, I'm John O'Hurley. You know our pets are beloved family members. But sadly, though, there are so many dogs that get euthanized every day due to the lack of funding. To give them a chance at adoption, I invite you to support Puppy Food Bank. Thanks to generous donors like you, all of the food sent to pet shelters from Puppy Food Bank never comes with a bill. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a generous, caring $15 donation every month. Your donation will absolutely save pet lives.
For all the things you have to do and places you need to be, let Uber take you there. Because there are nights out, airport trips, and car troubles in your area, there are drivers in your area. Uber. Request a ride today. Wait time varies. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Pantalones Organic Tequila. Because tequila is fun. Pantalones.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, plus get a $300 instant gift. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hey guys, it's us, the Jonas Brothers. I'm Joe.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Nick. And guess what? We created our own podcast called Hey Jonas.
We invented a podcast?
Well, we didn't invent it. We just contributed to it.
We're the first people to do podcasts. We get to ask other people questions because we're sick and tired of being asked questions.
Well, sick and tired is a strong way to put it, but you know.
Tired and sick.
Tired and sick. Listen to Hey Jonas on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Hey Jonas and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
There was a murder in central Ohio that many people still don't want to talk about. The man who committed that crime once sat on death row, but now he's on the run. His name is Lester Eubanks. Lester didn't tunnel out of prison or scale a stone wall. On a December morning in 1973, he and a small group of inmates were granted permission to walk outside prison walls. His handcuffs were taken off. He changed into civilian clothing, and he and 3 others were driven to a local mall. They were told they could wander the stores and were asked to return to a designated meeting spot. Hours later, all the inmates came back, except Lester Eubanks, and he hasn't been seen since.
He had a full plan. The guy had a plan.
I was just astounded that this could actually happen.
There were many years when it seemed like no one was even looking for Lester. But recently, his whereabouts have become the focus of the U.S. Marshal Service, the federal agents who track fugitives. The case is testing the marshals.
Those 9 lives are running out, and we're going to catch up with Lester.
And is being urged on by those hurt most by Lester's crime.
He's had enough free time. He confessed to the crime, and his time is up.
I'm Sunny Hostin with ABC News. Over the past year, a team from the ABC News investigative unit joined the search for Lester Eubanks. They uncovered new leads, possible sightings, and at every turn found resistance from those who want Lester Eubanks to be forgotten. What they've uncovered is a case that's about more than murder. It's about family loyalty, a life on the run, and a first-hand look at how the U.S. Marshals are trying to solve one of the oldest fugitive cases in American history. Now they may be closer than ever. From ABC News.
Have you seen this man?
Have you seen this man?
Wondering if you have seen this man.
Have you seen this man?
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. Number one for music, radio, and podcasts all in one.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. Hook 'em horns.
Well, on a Tuesday, glad to be back at it. We're just going to jump right on into Inconceivable. Start with the fast food, junk food update. Headline, this is from Yum Fryer. See, I consult lots of food sources on this stuff. You know, you've heard me talk about those, lots of different ones. Yum Fryer is one of the ones that I read about. This one has a headline, 2 new special edition treats from Little Debbie are quietly becoming the season's snack session. It has to do with the fact that that we're getting into what's called the summer of soccer.
Yep. Oh, the signs are everywhere. Saw them on my way to and from Houston. Saw them on NRG Stadium. It's going to be something.
Soccer brownies and soccer s'mores mini muffin are the things going on with Little Debbie.
Okay.
So you got those.
What makes them soccer? Is it a design? It look like a soccer ball?
Well,
do I have to wait 90 minutes and find out that it's 0-0?
They are, the design is Little Debbie's classic fudgy brownie format. But instead of reinventing the flavor entirely, they leaned into the visual fun while keeping it more like their fudge rounds, is what it looks like. But they say it's a familiar thing. The s'mores muffins, they're mini muffins that have chocolate and marshmallow flavored elements inspired by campfire desserts.
Okay.
Okay? You're good with that. All right. This does you no good at all. You've never had a Snickers in your life and never will.
That's probably accurate, unless they invent something.
Right. Well, they've, always been known for chocolate, peanut, caramel, nougat, all that stuff in there. Now, and of course, they have that an all-new line of Snickers ice cream minis. They said sometimes they get a little funky with the releases. Like last year, they had a Snickers barbecue sauce.
Ugh.
Yeah, Linda would say stay in your lane on that deal. But they have a Snickers and classic cream debut whipped dairy topping. You can't even do whipped dairy anyway. You can't do dairy unless it's non-dairy, right?
For the most part. Again, everything's okay in moderation when it comes to my dairy. I just have to know what I'm signing up for.
Okay. All right. So anyway, they got that going on. All right. We can jump to sports. I have a couple of sport-related items to get to. One, in what is rapidly becoming a desultory season for the Texas Rangers, it took on a more depressing note last night. It's one thing to lose to your rival, the Astros. Another thing to be shut out. The third thing to be blown out 9-0, but to be no-hit on a combined 3-pitcher no-hitter. That's the weird thing about it.
Well, it gets weirder, though.
Well, there's lots of weird things that happen with this. They struck out just 4 batters, the Astros pitchers, on that. And it started with Tatsuya Amai, Stephen Okert, and Alimber Santa, spelled like Santa, like Claus, but Santa. And here's what's also weird. The Astros have more combined no-hitters than any other team in baseball history. They've had 5 combined no-hitters. That just doesn't happen much.
Wouldn't have happened while Dusty Baker was there.
Yeah, right. There have been 3 no-hitters pitched at Globe Life Field now.
Oh, yeah.
None by a Texas Ranger.
Ooh.
All by opposing pitchers. No Ranger no-hitter thrown at Globe Life. Other teams, yes.
Ouch.
So the Astros now have thrown, now get this, since they first came. They've thrown in 18 no-hitters, the most of any big league team since they came in to the majors in 1962. The Dodgers have the next highest number of no-hitters. They've thrown with 13, as well as the most overall no-hitters in baseball history with 26. And I think the White Sox are second overall time. I think they have 19. The Astros, but in the time frame of when they entered baseball in 1962, they've had more no-hitters than anybody.
I wonder what goes into that. Is it a home ballpark thing? You know this, Craig. When I talked about it, it gets weirder. You know, it was Santa's big league debut.
Yeah. Comes in there and works two scoreless, and
Tatsuya Imai came in with an ERA at 8.
Yeah, that's why I said it's becoming even more depressing for Rangers fans than it would be if Cameron Parker was still around there. Then I'd let him come here and grouse about the Rangers because he's a frustrated Rangers fan as well. Okay, so we were talking about the Knicks winning Game 4, sweeping out the Cavs. If you notice, if you're watching, there were a lot of Knicks fans in the arena. There were a few that actually garnered courtside seats.
Oh, I wonder which Knicks fans those would be.
Well, one of them, got moved off the court.
Uh-oh. Halliburton's dad situation?
Fat Joe, the Knicks super fan, he, of course, he's the rapper, and he revealed unprompted that the Cleveland Cavaliers had taken back the courtside seats he purchased for Game 4. He bought them. But according to Fat Joe, the reason given was blunt. Knicks fans were not welcome at that level of the arena. It comes as Taylor Swift's demand that Travis Kelce at the Knicks game was exposed by a lip reader about that. So he said, we had bought some courtside tickets to the game, and once they found out it was superfan Fat Joe, they was like, I can't sit courtside. New York Knicks fans can't sit courtside. They took the tickets away courtside after we purchased it. So shame on you all. According to the New York Post, at least 10 other Knicks fans who had purchased courtside seats were contacted by a Cavaliers executive ahead of Game 4 and told their seats were no longer available. Those fans were subsequently relocated to a higher section inside Rocket Arena.
Is that even legal?
Well, here's what they had to say about it. Cavaliers, quote, playoff courtside seating is governed by a specific agreement that prohibits the resale or transfer of tickets without approval. There's their escape hatch. Can't do the secondary ticket market thing there. And if we learn of it, we're going to revoke the ticket. They just moved them to other parts. All courtside ticket holders are required to comply with the terms of the single game playoff agreement. The implication being that Fat Joe and others had purchased through the resale market, which the terms of those specific courtside agreements do not permit.
Well, it's fine because the team, they'd already purchased their tickets to the Bahamas
Right,
before that game even started. Cancun.
To further answer your question, the technical justification does hold up legally. But to the outside world, the optics were hard to separate from what looked like a deliberate attempt to prevent a Knicks takeover from happening right next to the Cleveland bench.
Meanwhile, the Cavs owner and the governor of Ohio, right, were both trying to encourage a Cavs takeover of Little Caesars Arena for Game 7 of the Pistons series.
That's right. Donovan Mitchell, who himself is from New York, said, I'm from New York. This doesn't shock me. They do it in every arena, is what he said. So, but Timothy Chalamet was sitting nearby. Spike Lee, Ben Stiller, I think, was there as well. So, I mean, the president's stuff.
Did they have a shot to win the finals?
They got a shot. Let me see how the rest of the West plays out first before we make a final call on that. Right now, I'd still lean to either of the West teams, either the Spurs or the Thunder. And we'll get a better indication of that tonight when they play Game 4. We'll be back to wrap up hour number 1 on 13 Under the Zone. Okay, so we're down to the Final Four in the NBA playoffs as well as the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Pro Golf has 2 of its Grand Slam events in the books, and we're closing in on the start of the college baseball NCAA regionals. Are you enjoying all of this on your home entertainment system? If not, give my friend Tom McKay a call at Audio Visual Consultations. You've heard me tell you what experts Tom and his staff are when it comes to home entertainment, but AV Consultations has expanded to become dealers and custom installers of Foresight golf simulators. So if you're wanting to improve your golf game, AV can get you hooked up with a Foresight simulator that can do the trick. AV Consultations now also offers full home and landscape lighting and automatic lighting control. Give Tom McKay and his staff a call today at 512-255-8678. That's 512-255-8678, or you can find them on the web at avconsultations.com. Let Tom McKay and Audiovisual Consultations help you realize the home entertainment system of your dreams.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. What are your rights and responsibilities? Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
Austin, San Antonio, and St. Louis.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
This feeling is brought to you by Aleve for back pain relief. What feeling is that, you ask? Well, it's the feeling you feel when you have relief from back pain. That move how you want to, not how you have to feeling. That keep going through your day without slowing down feeling. The kind that brings you back to yourself all day long without interruption. Oh yeah. Because Aleve offers long-lasting pain relief. Feel up to 12 hours of back pain relief with one dose. Feel Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It's the Marketer's Report. In this edition, Giovanni Martinez, Senior Director of Marketing and Innovation for Avocados from Mexico, weighs in on reach, frequency, and audio.
After researching and discussing with the team, we know that how powerful is audio. I mean, audio can really transmit emotions, and that's what we want. My company is so focused on performance. Every single thing we do, we measure it. So performance is key internally for the marketing team, and audio help us to do that, right? Because with the frequency, the reach that you can generate with that component is something that we always have as an add-on in our campaigns.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to all the audiences, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow, and all guaranteed human. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
Hey there, I'm Jason Alexander, and this is my dear friend, Peter Tilden.
Hey, Jay. By the way, the script says best friend.
Yes, it does, Peter. Anyway, Peter and I met over 25 years ago and became really good friends.
Best friends.
Because we had 2 things in common. Number 1, we like to argue about everything, driving, food, music.
No, we don't. And number 2, when things annoy us or they perplex us or just don't seem to make any sense, whether it's something in the news or in our personal lives, we go, really, no, really.
And then we have to find answers.
So we created a podcast called Really, No, Really. It's about finding the answers to all the things that make us go, really, no, really. Jerry Seinfeld wondered why they refused to make the stall door go all the way to the floor in a public bathroom, but he didn't get an answer. We did by reaching out to an expert.
And talking dogs. Really? No, really? We spoke to the pet parent of a dog who's become a social media star to find out if pressing buttons on a soundboard with a paw or a nose is truly communicating, or are they just showing off?
Competitive eaters, they don't chew during competitions. How about that?
Really? No, really?
That's what we heard. So we spoke to some of the biggest champions of the hot dog eats hot dog world of competitive eating to get the answer. And those are just a few of the things we'll explore on the Really No Really podcast with Jason Alexander and Peter Tilden.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
Longhorns baseball plays here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Okay, here we are at the end of of hour number one. We'll talk some college baseball next hour. By the way, Jake and I were just talking about this during the break. Mercer was one of the teams that was on double A at RPI 28. Folks said, well, they really should have gotten in. And a non-conference strength of schedule of 218. That's not going to help on that deal. And UTSA, number 52 in the RPI, and their non-conference strength of schedule was 168. So that didn't help either as well. Whereas Troy, we're wondering about Troy being 32 and 29. Their RPI is 8, and their non-conference strength of schedule 3. That'll get you in.
That'll play.
Yeah. All right, next hour coming up, we're going to visit with Stephen Trout, head coach of Texas State. Stay with us, hour number 2 on 1300, The Zone.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Support comes from Amazon Business. You can't rely on guesswork to run your business. With Smart Business Buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Empower your team today. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic, the delicious daily detox that will keep you feeling your best. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon or pick up some at your local CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no